Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and today's review for you. Does a bear shit in the woods? Sap on Tap is a 10% barrel-aged maple vanilla oatmeal stout from Grand Armory Brewing Company in Grand Haven, Michigan. It's been a little while since I've had a Grand Armory beer here on the channel, and it's mostly because I never know how fresh their beer is because they don't put dates on the bottom of the cans. Now, I know some of you out there, you won't even buy a beer that doesn't have a date on the can. Now, I know this one's relatively fresh because I picked it up in mid-March from Holiday Market in Royal Oak. It was actually the day before St. Patrick's Day, and I'm recording this now on on March 30th. So let's take a better look at the can because when I was looking at it earlier, it was making my mouth water a little bit. Fun fact, spring is when brown bears are hungriest because they lose up to a third of their weight during hibernation. Hibernation. It's multiple syllables. Okay, so let's take a look at the can here. It looks like across the top, as all Grand Armory beers say, it says Right to Bear Craft, and it has the Grand Armory Brewing logo. It says Barrel Aged Sap on Tap, and it has a brown bear. Looks like he has a bowl of oatmeal in his lap with a tap coming out of a maple tree and pouring directly into his oatmeal. And it says on the back here, barrel-aged sap on tap, barrel-aged maple vanilla oatmeal stout, not filtered or pasteurized, recommended to store cold and drink fresh. Brewed and packaged by Grand Armory Brewing Company in Grand Haven, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. And I'm home, so that can only mean one thing, responsible drinking. All right, so this is a bourbon barrel-aged beer. It has this kind of tree bark looking, or actually it looks like a barrel printed on here as well on the can label. But like I said, this is bourbon barrel aged. I believe it's maple bourbon barrels, but it just says barrel aged maple vanilla oatmeal stout. Really like oatmeal stouts. I really like stouts. I'm starting to kind of get over a little bit all the barrel-aged stuff. There's so many barrel-aged beers out now, and especially maple bourbon barrel-aged beers, and I just did one last week, Black Flame, which I really liked. But, you know, you kind of got to do something exciting for me to get excited about it, just because there's so much bourbon barrel-aged stuff out there. So let's go ahead and actually get a nose out of the can here. I'm getting a big vanilla scent out of it. Maybe a tiny bit of like a chocolatey kind of quality, but a lot of vanilla. A little bit of maple actually in there too. So let's go ahead and pour this. Coming out really dark. Cola colored, not necessarily oil colored out of the can. And kind of get a little more aggressive on the pour there to kind of stir it up a little bit. And not much head. It's fairly, you'll see from the overhead, there's not a lot of head. It dissipated really quickly. Not much kind of hanging on there, but this is really dark. Let's hold it up to the light here. It's just really dark. It's got, it's not super black, but it is very dark. It's got, I always talk about kind of the bulb on the bottom of the Belgian on a snifter, and it has a little bit of a cola kind of purplish brownish hue to it in that bulb. Let's put a better nose here on the glass. I'm getting a little bit more of that vanilla scent. A little bit more of that maple as well. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Cheers. Wow. It's got a very, it's not thick, it's not syrupy, it's a little bit heavier than a medium mouthfeel. It just has up front, let's get another taste here. I'm getting a lot of that vanilla, a lot of maple taste out of it. It has this, on the finish though, it just has this really rich, velvety, decadent, dark chocolate, super dark chocolate, bitter dark chocolate. So it's got this chocolatey quality to it, but it's just very dark chocolate. And it's just, like I said, just really decadent, really kind of rich, dark chocolate. It's not super sweet. Now with that vanilla and with that maple, it doesn't make it overpoweringly sweet, but that it's sweet enough on the front end and the tail end with that dark bitter chocolate just kind of rounds it all out. And like I said, it's got a really nice mouthfeel, and that chocolateness kind of adds like this almost velvety mouthfeel. It kind of changes the way that the mouthfeel comes through. Let's get another taste. Yeah, up front it just has that touch of sweetness, that maple, that vanilla come through right in there, and then this, like I said, on the finish, it's just got this really dark chocolate. It's kind of like the maple acts as like the maple and the vanilla kind of act as this like kind of barrier at the beginning, because that's what you taste at first, and then that barrier is just knocked right down with the really rich, again, just decadent, fudgy, dark chocolate. This, I have to say, is probably, I'm going to go out on a limb, this is probably one of the best bourbon barrel-aged stouts that I've had this year. And I've had a few, right? I've said, like, I had that Black Flame, like I said earlier. I've had KBS, which I really enjoyed. It was really chocolatey like this, but this has that extra complexity of the maple. And of course, also has that extra added quality of the vanilla. So it has the maple, it has the vanilla. And then again, that finish is just this really strong dark chocolate punch. That's, when I read a label, when I see something is maple bourbon barrel aged, or barrel aged maple vanilla oatmeal stout, this is what I want it to taste like. And Grand Armory has knocked it out of the park with Sap on Tap. This is an awesome bourbon barrel aged stout. If you can find this on the shelves, you owe it to yourself. If you like stouts, if you like those chocolatey stouts, if you thought KBS wasn't exactly what you were looking for, this would be one that you should pick up, because it ticks all the right boxes for me, right? I really like the maple. I really like the vanilla. It's got that sweetness up front, and I really love the chocolate finish on the end. Grand Armory has, again, they've knocked it out of the park with Sap on Tap. All right, friends, that has been Sap on Tap from Grand Armory. I know they're making their way all around the state now in different parts, here and there. So what's your favorite Grand Armory beer? Is it a regular release, or is it a limited one like this one here? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you like Michigan beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about Michigan beer twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you'll never know if I'm talking about your next favorite if you aren't subscribed to the channel. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by, and remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.